Hello Motor Rider World fans, and welcome to another Bike Tyre Guru segment with myself, Rob Portman, and this time I am joined by one of the head men from Metzeler Motorcycle Tyres to talk about their range of adventure bike tyres. Remember, we're going to be going on all about this just to educate you all out there about the adventure tyre market. So I've got Mr. Louis Jordan with me from Metzeler Tyres. Louis, first of all, we've got two options of tyres here. Now, for a guy like me, not really huge on tyres and coming from a more sports bike side, you've got a Karoo 3 and you've got a Karoo 3 Street. Tell us now the difference between these two, first of all.
Thanks, Rob. Again, thanks for Bruce and for you to giving us opportunity for this platform where we can actually discuss a bit more the adventure tyres and get the right tool for the right job. I've seen your previous videos, you did mention it a lot, and I think today we're going to elaborate on that and we're going to chat about that. So from our stables, my two biggest for the adventure market will be the Karoo 3 and the Karoo Street. Karoo 3 being your more off-road segment, and we'll chat about that a bit later on. We use more your 80-20 to 70-30 off-road split, and then your Karoo Street, which does exactly what it says, the street version of the Karoo. Still that nice aggressive looking tread pattern, but much more street orientated, higher load ratings, but with the higher load ratings, a bit softer casing, where the Karoo 3 will be a bit stronger in helping for that as well. But we will elaborate about that a bit later on as well, but just to give you guys a better split.
Okay, so now another big question that gets posed and asked a lot in the adventure bike market, and it's a valid one, is that you go buy your KTM 1290 and your BMW GS, you get a tyre fitted OEM. So now you as the customer thinking, well, I'm buying an adventure bike fitted with adventure tyres, I can now go do the adventure thing, whether it be tar, off-road, mountains, Chris Birch type stuff. You watch the promo videos and you go, I can do all that. But it's not necessarily that way. And that's where it gets lost in translation a little bit with the different applications available from these two tyres.
Perfect. And that's where you get a misperception. So if you look at your KTM Adventure R-Line or your GS 1250s or 1200s, a lot of them came with the Karoo 3 as an OE tyre from the factory, which is an awesome tyre for the adventure type rider. But if you buy that set tyre on your bike and you do commuting every day, where you do 90% on-road and 10%
which a lot of
off-road,
guys in this country do.
Yes, they do. Or they do a long trek where they would do a 500-kilometer trek with which only 50 or 80k to be off-road. Then that tyre might not be the right application. Being such an aggressive tread pattern, you'll have a lot more steering feedback from that. And it is limited on speeds with not as high speed ratings as on the Karoo Street.
Yes, that's where the float comes in. You don't have the same stability as you would a Karoo 3 Street.
But on the Karoo 3 again, with that reduced load rating and speed or reduced speed ratings, you do get a much stronger casing. So you get thicker plies, thicker nylon plies, thicker sidewall plies, thicker steel cords on your bead area. So it's much more support, much more puncture resistancy, to put it like that, for your guy that does off-road. So if you're a guy that does your BMW skills or your KTM adventure rallies, of which is coming up at the end of the month, you'll definitely need that type of tyre, the Karoo 3, which will work for your off-road rider.
Okay, so staying in with that, I've bought a GS or a 1290, it's come with that tyre. I don't want to go now fork out money because I'm doing more street riding on a Karoo 3 Street. So what can I do with my Karoo 3 to now get a little bit more longevity out of it on the road? Like you said, obey the speed rating, tyre pressure-wise.
So then tyre pressure, exactly like you just said. That's so important. With that stronger casing, you will get a much harder, firmer ride from that set tyre. So it is so important to stick to your recommended tyre pressures from your manufacturer, be it your Honda, your Kawasaki, your KTM, your BMW, because that will extend the life of your tyre. Because the moment you start deflating your tyre to get a better ride, you're sacrificing tyre life. And it's okay when you do the off-road stints for that short periods of time, but for your normal commuting on-road, you want to make sure you adhere to your recommended tyre pressures.
Okay, so now this is the other side, buys it, he goes now, he knows he's going to be going to do some off-road stuff, he's going to Bobbions, he's going to wherever, he drops his tyre pressure to the recommended for off-road stuff with your Karoo 3. Then this is where the problem sometimes comes in. And we touched upon in our last video. You hop back on the road now, you haven't reinflated your tyre. Now all of a sudden, I hate this tyre, it's moving around, my longevity's gone, it's starting to delaminate again. But that is now because you haven't adhered. So that is where I think a lot of the problems come in, is that now changing from application to application.
Unfortunately, it does. And if you look at that Karoo 3, for example, on a 170, you've got a speed rating of 190. That's maximum speed rating at maximum load, maximum pressure.
For a period of time.
But now the moment you start deflating that pressure, you're decreasing your speed that you can carry out of that tire. Because what is any tire's biggest enemy? It's heat. And the moment you start deflating it, and now, like you said, you're back on the tar road, you're pinning it to get back home or to your overnight location, and that's exactly going to happen. Now your 190 at 2.9 is all of a sudden 140 or 130 at say 2 bar or 2.2 bar, whatever the case might be. And that's why it's so important. And like a lot of people, when you say a tire is underinflated, people will think, okay, now it's a bar less. If you deflate a tire by 20% of its recommended tire pressure, that tire is running underinflated, and you will severely reduce or shorten the life of that tire if it's at prolonged periods of time on the open road and pinning it. But again, when you use that tire for off-road, when you want to deflate your tire pressures, keep in mind it's not as long stretches at such high speeds as what you would maintain on the on-road.
So now the Karoo 3 is well established, well known as a really good adventure tire. I see a lot of people using it. I know at GS Challenges before, it's done very well there and that. So that is the perfect application, like you said, for that. The more off-road stuff, but has the road capability with the right kind of application from the rider's side. You now have a rider, like we said, a lot of guys in this country buy adventure bikes, do very little actual adventure riding off-road. Metzeler have addressed this. You've got your Karoo 3 Street. So now give us the percentage application there, and again, just explain that tire more in detail for the everyday commuter, long distance traveler, who also now wants to do a little bit of gravel road.
So if you look at your Karoo Street, that's more your 50-50 type of application, where you got a tire that can handle the off-road capability, but much more aimed for your on-road capability. And I think that's where I want to chat about it quickly. If you look at your personal, be it your Bucky or your SUV or LDV, if you've got a Bucky that you commute with every day, you don't want to fit mud range, which is your Karoo 3 on it. You want something that's a bit quieter, a bit better handling, capable of better speeds. But still, when you do the off-road segment, you still want to have that Karoo Street, and that's what that exactly does for us. It gives us that best of both worlds, with a slightly higher speed rating. So, but again, this moment your speed ratings go higher, your casing is a bit, not softer, but not as strong as the Karoo 3 would be. So you might sacrifice some off-road capability, but again, it's a 50-50, not an 80-20. So for the guy that does long road stretches, to do his
fully
segment,
loaded with a pallet, passenger,
that's exactly what you want from that. And with the Karoo Street, you've got up to your V-rated tires, which is up to 240, versus your Karoo 3 only a bit of 160 or 170, depending on application. But again, it fits into that segment. So if you're a guy that commutes up and down to work every day, that's what you want. It will give you exceptional good mileage. Again, if you adhere to your tire pressures, because it's so important. But it can handle that bit of off-road segments every now and again, but it's mainly made 50-50, like I said, to cover the best of both worlds for us all.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot here quickly with both applications. Me as a rider, I'm looking after it. I'm adhering to the tire pressures. I'm adhering to the speed ratings. Then, what kind of tire life should me as a consumer or customer looking at out of your Karoo 3 and your Karoo 3 Street?
Again, how long is a piece of string? It depends on rider, it depends on bike, it goes on. There's a lot of stuff like that. So in your Karoo 3s, I've had guys destroying them on 1,000, 1,500 Ks. But that's aggressive off-roading. But I've had guys doing 4,000 to 5,000 Ks, depending on the application. And then it comes over to the Karoo Streets, where I've got guys commuting 12 to 15,000 Ks out of a rear tire, or a tire set, to say it like that. So again, there's so many factors. But if you adhere to your correct tire pressures as stipulated by the manufacturer, and again, you pick the right tire for the right job, I can guarantee you'll have the best performance out of either one, depending on what your application will be.
Okay, so we've spoken about 1290s a lot on the BMs. I mean, what is this available for the mid-market? What kind of range does Metzeler have available for this in the adventure bike market?
So that's a nice thing with the Karoo 3 and Karoo Street. We cover such a wide variety of bikes on that, where you can cover from your 600, your old 660 XT660s, all the way up to your 1290s and 1250s, where you've got your 21 fronts, you've got your 19 fronts, you've got your 17 rears, 18 rears, depending on the application. You've got a nice spectrum of guys, and especially on the smaller bikes, where a lot of guys use those to commute with, where the Karoo Street is the perfect for that. But again, if you want to go skills trophy, bit smaller, bit more nimble bike for the weekends, then the Karoo 3 is also there to go for.
Okay, so let's delve in a little bit more to the actual tires. Where are they made? What makes them so special? Why should an adventure bike rider on both applications make the Metzeler range an option in his mind?
So Metzeler is a German brand. It's been manufacturing tires for many a year. So if you look at most of these tires come out of Germany themselves. So you'll get these from Germany imported directly, but that gives you BMW connection. That's why you'll have these as an OEM, original equipment on your BMW 1250s. You'll have as an OEM Austria, quite close. So you've got your Austrian bikes as well running on them as your OEM. And as well, some of your Yamahas, where they come out on the Tyres, we've got these OE on them as well. But saying that, you've got them catering for the wide market. So even for the Hondas, you can have them for the Honda African Twins as well. But again, like I said, German product, we all know the Germans, they are very pedantic. There's no
Precise.
there's precise.
Yeah,
That's how
meticulous.
something is meticulous and precise. That's exactly it, yeah.
Okay, Louis, to end off, thank you so much for coming in. I think we've covered a lot with regards to your Metzeler tires. I think we've given a lot of information, which is what the show is all about. But guys and girls, please just remember, before you climb on your keyboards, get all the information. Get to a Bike Tyre warehouse store. Find out the information. My back hurts, my shoulders hurt, my neck hurts. I'm 40 years old now. But I don't go to my doctor and tell him what I think is wrong with me. I get an expert's opinion. I get the dialysis. I get all the information, okay? So we live in a modern day where you can climb on and just rant about something and it's fact. You cannot beat fact. Let's get all the information. Bike Tyre Warehouse is the most established when it comes to motorcycle tires in the land. They are the most professional, best advice, best price. I'm here all the time. I get customers coming in, not even to buy tires, they just want that advice. If you have any questions regarding any of the adventure tires or the Metzlers that we've just covered in here, pop into a Bike Tyre Warehouse store, get the information you need before you climb on those keyboards, or post a comment on this video and we will gladly reply to it. So I hope you've enjoyed this segment. Remember, stick around, we've still got plenty more coming with regards to adventure bike tires on the Bike Tyre Guru segment.